Okay, so in this video, we're going to take the dice that we had in the previous lesson that was being created multiple times and fix that, so that way we only get one set of dice each time it's created. To do that, we'll have to set a project so that we can adjust some of the code. So I have my desktop here, and I'm going to set it to the dice project that I created. Inside of the dice project folder, I did create a scenes folder, and I have an OBJ that I want to import with the information. I have this my file, but I don't really need that. It's what I created the OBJs for. So this is the texture map, this is the material, and that's the OBJ. So that way we can import the die into here rather than having it in the scene when we create it. So let's look at the code and how to get that working. So what I want to do now is add another if statement, a condition at the top. So if count is equal to 0. So the reason I'm using two equal signs here is because this is a comparison. I'm not actually changing this count variable, whereas when I'm using a single equal sign, I am. So here I'm saying count is equal to, and over here in the if statement, I'm checking to see if it is equal to here. So it's a comparison. And that's why we needed two equal signs. Okay, so what I want to do is find the project. I'm going to set that to a variable. So path equals mc.workspace. And I want to query the value where the workspace is. So that's going to be equal to true. And the specific area of the workspace that I want to get is the root directory. And that is going to be equal to true. So now I have the path, and I want to be able to import the file. So there is a command mc.file that lets me import a file. And I can say the file that I want to import is path. It starts off with the path that we get there that gets us to the root directory. But then we have to add to that with a string. So scenes slash, and let me make sure what that is called. It is die.geo.obj or die.geo.obj. So die.geo.obj, and then I can close that. And what do we want to do with this file? We want to import it, so that flag is I and equals to true. So we have this file here that is going to be imported at the beginning, which holds my D6 file. So let's copy this and bring it into Maya and run this. And just to check this, we're going to make sure that we delete that die. And we roll one die, and we have it here. Let's check what it's called. It is called D6. So if we do multiple dice, so let's say 3, we get 3 dice. There's some orientation because the pivot's not centered. I'll fix that later here. But so we did roll 3 dice. It did duplicate it, but it is Now stacking them on top of each other, so we should be able to see. Huh. That's a D6. Let's get rid of these. And let's zero this out. Make sure that it is working properly. So there, yeah, we do have 3. Which is what we are expecting right now. And the D6 is right here at the end. So now that we have that working, I want to go back in and make sure that I reset everything, because if I do this here again, I get this weird effect. The D6 is there, but I got more things happening here than what I want. So to fix that, what we have to do is, let's go back into the code, and we'll create another function here. So at the end, define clear scene. So I'm setting up another function like I did here or here. This time I'm going to call the function within a function. We'll see that in a moment. But what do I want to do? I want to do mc.select. And then what do I want to select? Can hit the flag all and make that equal to true. After I do that, I want to do mc.delete. So that's going to delete whatever's selected, in this case, everything in the scene. Then mc.set adder. And since I actually have these, I'm just going to copy these really quick and paste them here. And using Shift Tab, we'll bring it back to the appropriate indentation level. So I'm taking the D6, rotate X, Y, and Z, and making sure that they're set to 0. And I can paste this again, and then instead of rotate, I want translate. Translate, and translate. So that way we completely setting this die back to 0. Now in this if count equals 0, I want to make sure that because I'm re-importing it anyways, I don't need to make sure that it's 0 because it should be 0 when we import it. So that's fine. All we need to do is make sure that we clear scene on if count equals 0 and before we import it. So clear scene, so we can call that function, copy. Let's see if that fixes everything we need. And we can roll this with 1 dice. That is fine. We still only have the 1 dice. We can try 3 dice. We got 3 dice. Perfect. Go 5 dice. And we should have 5 dice here. And nothing is doubled, which is exactly what we want. And I think that's where I will end this video, and we'll continue on adding more functionality to this program in the next lesson.